When we left off, we had just finished installing wall panels, port lights, and headliner in Makara's salon and galley. Well, the weather has certainly changed. I would say our nice summer days are over. It's now into the later half of September. This is kind of the time we wanted to be getting out of here and heading south with the change of the weather, or before the change of the weather. But we're still here working. Things have been a little bit slower than we hoped, but we are making progress. We go down and check out what Ty's doing. We are doing putting our bunks in up in the v-berth. If you remember, back when we were in Hawaii, Ty's dad, Brian, kind of started on the v-berth for us here, getting these panels cut to size. We've put in some permanent supports underneath and been doing a lot of planning and trying to figure out how we're gonna best put in 2 bunks up here. We've gone through a few different variations of the plan, but I think we have something that will work pretty well right now. So we'll show you more of that in the next few days here.
One of the best things that we had, what was being used for the supports under here was parts of teak and doors and whatever. So one of the best things, I guess, that was on the boat was a lot of random spare crap. So there was a lot of like teak parts. Unfortunately, it was all hacked up bits of stuff from this boat and stuff from other boats, probably like bits of really good wood, teak wood and stuff like that. So luckily we've got, Hillary's dad has been able to do an awesome job of repurposing all that wood and rebuilding some doors for us, as well as salon tables and so on, which meant we could replace the supports under here with just use like 2x4s and stuff. We've done mostly everything that's in these water areas. We've done with a penetrating epoxy to kind of soak that wood out, and then as you can see up here too, we've also primed the v-berth that we're sitting on as well.
The walls have even been ripped out in here. Originally we were looking at putting kind of like an elevated folding bunk in there, and we wanted to make sure we had something sturdy to attach to, so we ripped out the walls. It's a good thing we did, because half of these things that are up here now weren't actually attached, so they wouldn't have done a good job holding anything up. We won't be doing the elevated bunk now, but we do have good proper furring strips in there. We're going to put some insulation behind there, and then new like shiplap paneling. I'm going to do ceiling panels we need in here still, and then the beadboard up top. So basically a full renovation of this v-berth, putting it back to an actual cabin, a bunk.
Finishing up these cleats to complete the bottom for our berths, right?
Our new berths.
Our new v-berths. Bunk on either side. 27 inches wide, by 6.5, 7-ish feet, depending, tapering. Yeah.
Nice.
Should be nice. Oh, and then this bit goes here.
Yep.
Actually, that'll look really good now.
Yep. We're making progress up here in the forward cabin. We have both of our bunks almost all the way assembled. The last thing is we're just fitting in this little guardrail that will hold the mattresses in. So once that's fitted, the bunks will be pretty much complete, other than the foam. Also up here we have insulation in one side. Our next project is to insulate the other side. And also up top, our wall panels are in. We need to put the headliner in. And then on the outside walls, we have this gorgeous wood right here. This is a cedar shiplap planking that we're going to put in up in the walls. We have coated it with penetrating epoxy, so that should seal it and preserve the wood. And it actually still has that really great cedar smell, so we're excited. With the bunks coming together, I had been working on installing insulation against the hull. Using the same polyiso foam that we had used in the salon, I cut pieces to go between the furring strips. Ty followed me, installing the cedar planking up the walls. Similar to the beadboard headliner, these planks had a tongue-and-groove system and clipped together, although they were much more fragile than the vinyl planks. Once clipped together, we also fastened them to the furring strips with stainless screws. It's October now. We broke down today and bought a heater to help us keep warm because it's getting so cold. Yesterday morning it was freezing, literally 32 degrees Fahrenheit when we woke up. Getting cold, getting into real fall. Have a few projects we've been working on this week. Trying to finish up a lot of the projects that we've been working on for quite a while now. One of those is up here in the forward cabin. We have cedar planking on both the walls. Ty finished that up and it looks amazing. I have insulation up on the ceiling. Now we just need to get some panels cut, some ceiling panels to go underneath these low ceilings behind me. And we are today installing the last kind of physical part of our bunk. We have a little guardrail that'll go along the edge and keep the mattress in, and it'll also be what our lee cloths tie off to. So we're going to make sure it's nice and strong with some L brackets as well as some long screws that go through it.
These little screws will not be permanent probably. The plan would be to replace these, what are these, 1/2 inch screws with through bolt where we can. That'll give us a lot more support, because this wouldn't hold much. Magic. This is one of the bunks. Probably put the head at the other end, but what is this about? 6.5, 7 feet? That was actually quite large. I can put my arms out.
Hey, look at that.
And my feet don't touch.
Nice.
So that's nice. And then the other one over there is, I think, even bigger.
Yeah.
And quite wide, so these will be nice bunks. Got some long screws that'll go up through the base into these, what are they called? What do you think this is called?
I don't know.
It's your bunk bed support to stop you falling out of the bunk bed when you're having a nightmare at night as a kid. The proper name for it is, I'm not really sure. The railing.
Yeah.
It'll keep the mattress in, and it'll also, our lee cloths will attach to this. We also got to put the ceiling up here, finish the ceiling here. This will be foam probably to protect everyone's heads. And then of course trim around the hatches here. And then sand, paint, and it's getting close to being done. This is today's model for like the Price is Right. Are you modeling the Price is Right?
We still need to get some mattresses up here. That will make it much more comfortable. Haven't decided. We'll either do 3 or 4 inch mattresses, and it's a really funny shape, so we might get a larger piece of foam that we'll cut up ourselves, which is a lot cheaper than getting them to cut it for you. As some of our projects have started to come together here, getting the headliner and the new wall panels in, our next thing we've been trying to tackle is the trim, which has been a pretty challenging project, trying to reuse what old trim we can. There was some of it that was just too bad and really unusable. It was beat up or broken. There are missing pieces of trim. So it's been a bit of a puzzle and challenge trying to find new trim that fits with the old trim, matching sizes, possibly cutting down some of it to try and match. And then all that on top of trying to get all of the angles and corners to match. So of course, on a boat, nothing is square, so all the cuts are in angles, and even the walls aren't necessarily flat up and down, so it's like a double angle cut. You're cutting an angle to meet one piece of trim, and then you're cutting an angle to meet the angle of the hull, the side of the boat. So it's pretty challenging to figure out what we're doing with that and make sure we're cutting things right and not wasting a bunch. So it's been a bit of a challenge. We'll see how it comes together here.
Thanks so much for watching, and a huge thanks to our patron Adrift crew who support the continued making of these videos. If you enjoyed, we'd love it if you gave us a thumbs up, and please make sure you're subscribed so you can follow our progress. Until next time.